I love the interviews, right? And the reason I love the interviews are because I get to interview the good old folks, especially people who, they're pretty dear to me. And some of the people who are pretty dear to me just happen to be some big deals out there, especially within the community, especially in the media community, because you know what? That's where we in. Me and LaurenSizzle, Class Lady Sparkle, Lady S. Dot, all of us, we all doing this thing. Jihad, we all in this media realm, independent. Right? And this young lady right here, when I tell you that she has done everything, man, from TV to makeup to entertainment to, I can't do her justice, right? And I was going to read her bio, right? But what I'm going to do is let this classy young lady kind of go through it, because what happens is when I tell you that she has a resume that's longer than life, that has done so many different things and has still been active and just happened to be a friend to the show. But what I'm gonna do is Sizzle, kind of give me like a paragraph or something, because this thing is like 5 pages long. That's how much she has done. I'm trying to tell you. I mean, it is what it is. So we got the day.
So we have Miss Rochelle K. Helm, a.k.a. Miss Roxi Fab. She is an aspiring lead singer, but later realized that she loved background vocals, makeup artistry, and skincare.
Yes.
She earned her esthetician. I knew I was going to mess. Esthetician.
There we go.
Yes, I knew I was going to mess that up. My
Esthetician.
diploma.
There you go.
I just can't get my tongue together. And PA state license at Jean Madeline Education Institute. She is a very talented woman and a mother of 3 wonderful children. She remains humbled but very busy. She's a spitting image of her father, legendary radio personality from WDAS, Carl Helm. So alongside her father, she met many artists like idol Patti LaBelle, Phyllis Hyman, Tina Marie, Prince, and Michael Jackson, just to name a few. And her father also can be heard doing background vocals for many artists as well, such as Patti LaBelle, Phyllis Hyman, Billy Paul, Teddy Pendergrass, The Stylists, The Spinners, Denise Williams, and many, many more. She also decided to follow in her father's footsteps as a disc jockey, aka radio personality of her own show called The Roxi Fab Show. And she's also still singing, and she can be seen acting in hit stage plays, as well as gracing the runway as a plus-size model in numerous fashion shows for multiple designers. She's also heard singing background for 90s R&B crooner Christopher Williams, known for the hit "Don't Wake Me, I'm Dreaming."
Oh, Sizzle had to do it. She got that voice, right? So she.
Welcome to the show, Miss Roxi Fab.
Roxi Fab in the building. Good friend of mine. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I appreciate you coming to my little old show.
Your show ain't little. Your show is not little. You bigger than me. Your show is not little.
You have to see her when she does her thing on her radio show. I mean, she gets it down. When I tell you the music, old school, listen. So let's talk a little bit about everything that you're doing, man. Listen, because you got so much to talk to. I'm going to jump right into it because, I don't want to run out of time. But what I do want to jump into is you in media, women in media, right? Mm-hmm. And we can transition into a lot of different topics. Right, from there. But I want to start with you and pretty much being independent and have been doing this a long time and won awards also.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that and what empowers you and encouraged you to do that.
Well, I've always had a love for music. I played piano as a child. I don't know why I stopped.
Right.
And then my father, used to wake me up as a child. I was probably about 6. I would sleep with the radio on, and my dad's voice would come on the air about 6:30 in the morning and say, and to my daughter Shelly, I need you to wake up right now. It's time to get get up and go to school. And, you know, so those things have been instilled in me. And my dad has that voice, you know. Lady B told me years ago, and she still reminds me to this day, like, you know, your dad was my first radio crush. You know, everybody has a crush from somebody on the radio, and my dad was her first crush, and my dad still has that type of that voice, you know, and I think that that's just what it was. I would be in the studio with him, you know what I mean? He would just walk into Sigma Sound and Philly International, and they, you know, Carl, come and drop these vocals, and I'd be little, you know, and just watch him just go do his thing, you know, first time perfect, and be able to just walk out, you know, and just being around all those people, just, you know, knew that my love of music was just over top of anything.
No doubt.
And I realized, gosh, in 2015 that I had the voice for that. You know, singing is different.
Yeah.
You know, I could always sing. Singing was different. But somebody said, you should be on the radio. And I was like, no, I shouldn't, you know. And I said, okay, I'm going to go talk to her, whatever. So, you know, I reached out to Yvette Money.
Right.
And she said, be my co-host, and eventually I want you to take over. I was like, oh, all right. You know, so I was nervous, you know. I was like, I thought I was going to stutter and everything. And the first time I did my own show, you know, I mean, I don't know how many calls I got with the, you should have been doing this. This is, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and after that, it just, you know, you already know how it is. It just becomes, you know. I just had to find my sound, as much as I may be on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm like, loud and all that. I know my vocal ability, I'd like it to be on the Mimi Brown side or the Patty Jackson side. You know, I want it to be on that side. I love my Shamaras. Don't get me wrong. And I used to love my Laias. You know what I mean?
But in the building,
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Goodness.
Yeah,
but the greats.
Yeah, but I know that as I'm getting older, and the music that I listen to, I need to be on that you know, that Mimi Brown vibe, and that Patty Jackson vibe, and that Deanna Williams vibe.
You know what?
You know,
as you say, getting older, I gotta shout you out. Happy born, happy anniversary.
Thank you. It's
know
tomorrow. I'm excited.
Yeah, no doubt,
I'm
no doubt.
excited. The
Gotta put
5-0
that on
is
the
in
radio.
the building. Like,
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm not even scared of it. I'm ready.
No doubt.
I'm ready.
Yes,
You know what I mean? So
Black don't crack.
it's good skincare.
Black girl
It's
magic.
called take care of your skin.
No doubt.
That's unfortunately our problem.
Right.
You know, we think that we can just pack on makeup and walk out the door and it's good. And
Right.
you got to take care of your canvas.
Right,
You
right.
got to do it. And it doesn't even have to cost that much.
Right.
I use witch hazel and Noxzema every day.
Now
It's not
because
that hard.
let's jump into metaphorically saying take care of your canvas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Women in media, right? Oftentimes, women get painted as just kind of this superficial piece, and you got to be so beautiful. It doesn't matter about anything else, right? And so, oftentimes, their innerness, so to speak, right, is affected because of that. And you know, we as a men have to take accountability for that also. So how can we, as a community, as men and women, kind of, how do you feel as men and women we can do to help support and uplift that voice for women? You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean. It's hard. It's to me, it's unfortunate. You know, there will always be a double standard.
Right,
it's a double standard with almost everything when it comes to women and men.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? There's certain things that we should be able to do too, that, some of you guys do too, but when we do it, we're looked at something else where y'all are looked at as yo.
Yeah,
So,
no
you know what I
doubt,
mean?
no
So
doubt.
it's a double standard in
Yeah,
everything.
no
And unfortunately, women in the industry are I don't want to say never.
Right.
I don't want to say never, but it's been a long time
Right.
that they're just not recognized
Right.
as, the other men. We have to look at the situation with B and 100 point. You got to look at it.
Yeah, no doubt.
You got to look at it. Their ratings are not that great.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And she's not going back at all. Even if they asked her tomorrow, she's not going.
Miss
But
you, Lady B.
it's just, she knows. So now what's her best thing to do is online and do her own podcast, which will drop in January. And what's going to happen? She's already got sponsors. Wells
no doubt.
Fargo, State Farm. Yeah, it's going to be so crazy. It's ridiculous. But the difference is that with online radio, she can have Ice-T come in and say what he wants to say.
Right.
She doesn't have to edit it, nothing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's going to be the difference, and that's going to be that extra draw that we really want to know what this person really thinks about this industry. So as far as what we all can do together, I think it's just what we're doing now. You know, what we're trying to do. You know, you're having women on your show. You're having women co-host all the time. You know, you have a permanent women co-host and women guest host and giving their opinion. And we have to do the same thing with men and not have just groups of just women where we don't involve the men. You know, I understand that there are women media groups, and I get it, you know, because we have to uplift one another and not tear each other down. But there are some men that have been in this game for a long time. And even if they're the men that haven't been in the game, there are men that jump in this game and just know.
Right.
They just know, and they can teach us something too. So I just, you know,
you know what? You said something, and I almost lost it for a second because I think everyone knows how much I preach, how important it is for a community. I don't just, I mean, and we're about to go into Metoo because that's important to hear your voice on that. But it, you know, as I created this show, you know, it became a partnership between me and Sizzle, right? And so I felt that it was very important to make sure that, you know, this is not just about me. This is about us, right? So if you hear Charles Gregory, you hear LaurenSizzle, right? And so I thought that was very important as a male, someone that's prominent in media, so to speak, in independent media, to say, you know what, let's come on. We doing this together, right? And so I thought that was important to assist in with kind of practicing what I preach in terms of this is togetherness. Because I have a real big problem with all this independence. And when you have this independence, you start to talk independently, right? And so people start to forget how important it is to have a community, right?
Because you can't do anything by yourself.
Can't do anything by yourself.
You can't do anything by yourself. And you need the community, and you need the experience of the one before you and the one that's going to replace you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Everybody has a voice.
Right.
And you need that. And you know, the entertainment business alone, you know what I mean? You've been in this industry for a minute. You know what I mean? Nothing to do with media. You've been in this industry for a minute. Beauty, fashion, it's all the same thing. It all ties into one.
Exactly.
So you have so much information and knowledge to be able to speak about. Why shouldn't you pass it on?
Right.
You know, there are just some people who just don't want to do that.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it because I don't want to let you go, and this time flies so fast. So let's talk a little bit about Me Too. And I often touch on that, especially with people within the media, right? And you being very prominent in media. And, I mean, you have lineage in media, radio, independent, right? And so let's talk a little bit about your perspectives on that female's voice in that, in addition to acknowledging some type of men issues also.
Well, okay. So I watched Black Girls Rock last night because I was at Dr. J's Black Tie, so I couldn't watch it. So I was watching it last night. Fortunately, I can fast forward through a lot of stuff, you know, no hate, but I just did. So I love Lena Waithe's speech. Shout out to her. She's just amazing, you know, for the community period, whether it's gay, straight, love her. So, but my only issue, and the lady who created the Me Too movement was what do you call it? You know what I mean? I can't even get the wording today. I don't want to waste time. But
our Caucasian counterparts.
Here's my issue with it, though. I guess my issue is that, and I said it on my Facebook Live the other day, and I said it on my show as well. You know, I'm not the same person I was 25 years ago, and I'm not expecting anybody to let what happened slide. I'm not. They're going through something right now. The CEO of CBS, okay, you know, is Julie Chen's husband. You know, and now here come the women in the woodworks. Well, first of all, if his walk away money is going to be over $100 million. So if you think he's mad about walking away, he's not. You know what I mean? He's already a billionaire. Number two, I'm not excusing what he did, but for someone to say, oh, and 19 years ago, he did this. He was not the same person he was today. And again, the same way with Bill Cosby and and everybody else that has gone through something. I'm not saying that it didn't happen and they should just be excused, but I do believe that there has to be a time limit.
Right.
I'm sorry, it just has to be a time limit. You shouldn't be able to come at my neck 20 years later because, and I'm not being mad at women. Again, I get it. Men have been victims as well. Right. I'm not saying it, but you finally come out of your shell after 20 years.
That's a whole nother person.
And, right. And now, I'm 80 and this happened when I was 25 and now you want to put me in prison? I don't understand that part. Again, I know some women bury it and I get that. But if you had a time limit on it, if the law said you got 6 years, if after 6 years, sorry, it doesn't matter what happened or what the circumstances, even if you got pregnant and had a child, you can bring it up, but it's not going to happen. Then everybody would speak up a little bit faster. I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly. So, I feel very bad of what happened to these women. I'm glad that they finally did get the voice up and the courage to speak up. Right. I know that hurts, and I'm fortunate enough to never have had to deal with that. But on the men's side and the men that are being accused, that's my part of it as well. You know what I mean? To me, I just feel like it should be a time limit because if I'm correct, there's a statute on rape. So why isn't there a statute on this? You know what I mean? How can
you think about that?
Yeah, Janice Dickinson's coming out 25 years later talking about what Bill Cosby did. He doesn't even remember that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And again, I'm not saying that Bill did or didn't do it. I wasn't there. Who am I? But I just believe that if there's time limits on other things, there should be time limits on this.
So real quick, because you mentioned or touched on who actually created the Metoo movement, do you believe that there's preference or privilege when it comes to Metoo for women of color versus our Caucasian counterparts?
I don't know, because I think that who else came forward? It wasn't Gwyneth Paltrow. Who was it? Somebody came forward as well. I mean, they're all coming forward. I just think that we're acknowledging it just in different ways and just not. Unfortunately, I just don't think we're acknowledging it together. But then I think that on one of these awards, maybe it was the Academy Awards or something, a lot of the women on stage, which were Caucasian women, stood up and talked about Me Too and all those kind of things. So I mean, this is the one movement that I do believe that it's all women, period, that are coming together and standing up for what, again, they believe in. I think it's united a little bit.
Fantastic. What's next for Roxi Fab? Real quick, how did you get the name? Because I'm sure people are like, Roxi Fab. Tell everybody how you got the name real quick and tell us what's next for you.
Well, in 1997, I know it was a long time ago, I was really starting out doing makeup. And I just needed something snazzy. I was like, so I went to my best friend. I was like, I need a name. And she's like, Roxi. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I joined a band in 2009. And at that time, like, the word fabulous was just like that word. So I was like, oh my God, that is fabulous. I used to say it all the time. And my band leader was like, Fab. And I was like, what? And he's like, that's the name. I'm like, what? Roxi Fab. I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's how it was born. I mean, unfortunately, he passed away maybe like 2 years ago. But yeah, that's how that became about. And as far as what's next, obviously I'm 50 tomorrow. Shout out to me. Woohoo! Yeah, right. What's going on? Saturday, September 29th. So far, so good. I still part-time personal assistant for Ellen Smith, who is Will Smith's sister, and her mother, Miss Carolyn Smith. So we're having a big event at the house, and if you want any information, that's at www.imesmith.com. On September 30th, I am receiving a Philadelphia Legacy Award, so I'm really excited.
That's what
about
I was waiting
that.
to hear, right there.
I'm really excited about that. That's going to be at the Victorian Banquet Hall.
Congrats.
And all the information is on my phone, which is across the room. But I know that I think the reception starts at 5, dinner's at 6:30. Individual tickets are like $150 or $300. It's something high, so that means it's really gonna be good. The higher the ticket, it just means that the event's gonna be fabulous. It's semi-formal, so that's really good. And just other like little stuff. There's fashion shows coming up that I'm in, and giving away tickets on my own show. Because there's comedy shows coming up down Atlantic City and all those kind of things.
Yeah, no doubt,
you know
doubt.
what I'm saying?
So
it's good.
You're just dope. You're just dope.
Good. I'm in like 3 plays, 1 film and 2 plays this winter.
Wow.
So it's one's called A Road to Truth is the film. We film on September 23rd. And Eve to Believe, I don't know when that play is, but the other one is called the Daughters of the Mock, and it's real serious. If you look that up, it's like filmed in like Louisiana, but we're obviously not doing it there. It's just 4 people, and it's like voodoo priestess type thing. It's really deep. So that play is going to be in Norristown, and that's going to be like right after Thanksgiving, the first weekend in December.
No doubt. So how can they get in before? Because we only got about 30 seconds. Tell me something, because I never usually get my question out anymore, but I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
The one thing that no one else knows about Roxi Fab, because you've done millions of interviews, you have your own show, you talk about yourself, but I want the one thing that no one else knows about Roxi Fab you could tell us right now.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I already gave you my government.
Think.
I gave you my nickname, which never repeat again. And everybody knows I wear wigs every day. My teeth are real. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. My teeth are real. I whiten them. I like it. I don't know. I curse a lot. I'm sorry. I don't know. There's nothing else. I share everything. I don't hold anything.
Well, we're going to have to bring you back to the show because you stuffing. Roxi Fab is stuffing.
I don't. I share everything.
No doubt.
I do.
Well, we love you. Thanks for coming to the show. How can they all get in contact with you and all that good old stuff?
I love you more. I'm everything social media, ROXIFAB. And again, my website is www.roxifabshow.com.
No doubt. Thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you, baby.
We love everybody who's been watching. Thanks, Jihad is in the building. Appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you for having me,
You know what I'm saying? Lady I Style is in the building. Classy Lady Sparkle's on vacation, or she's in the play. She's working on something. Yeah. And LaurenSizzle, you want to get like a last word real quick? We got about 15 seconds.
Follow, subscribe, watch, binge listen, all that good stuff.
All that, that's right. So that was LaurenSizzle in the building, your boy Charles Gregory on WPPM LP 106.5 FM. And check this out, We Talk Weekly After the Talk is now on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Spotify. Make sure you follow us on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify. Binge listen to our shows. Like and follow us on We Talk Weekly's Facebook page. Download the TuneIn app. Look for WPPM LP 106.5 FM. Tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on We Talk Weekly's After the Talk. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, We Talk Weekly. That's that We Talk Weekly. Me at Charles Gregory, at Lauren_Sizzle, at Sparkle Price this one. Subscribe to our We Talk Weekly YouTube channel. And if you're in Philly, catch us every Monday night, 9:30 on Comcast 66, Verizon 5, 29 and 30. And who do you look for?
We Talk Weekly.
Man, that was a mouthful. I don't want y'all to go anywhere. Make sure you keep following us. Make sure you keep looking. Make sure you keep subscribing. Make sure you keep listening. And we love you. We out here like last year. Holla!
At 7 p.m. on 106.5 FM.